Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin a new course, new subject, that is environment and ecological sustainability. This course consists of three modules, but today we are going to begin the module one. The syllabus of module one we can see environment and segments, lithosphere, ecology and ecosystem, material cycle, environmental impact assessment. So this module one may take at least 10 lectures. So today our topic will be environment, definition, scope and importance. So what is the definition of environment? As per the Environmental Protection Act 1986, environment includes water, air and land and the interrelationship which exists among and between water and air in water and air and land and human beings, other living creatures, plants, microorganisms, and property. We can see this diagram, how the air, water, land, materials are interrelated with each other. Then living organisms, human beings. So surrounding us, the air, water, lands, materials, or all the things are interrelated and they have impact upon each other. Suppose the air is going to be polluted, or water is going to be polluted, or land is going to be polluted. Ultimately, it will have impact on the environments and the human beings. It will have impact on the plants, animals, materials, right? This comes under the environment. The next we can see what are the components of the environment. The environment can be broadly classified in abiotic and biotic components. Abiotic is called as non-living and biotic is the living. We can see the diagram that the abiotic components consist of two factors, edaphic factors and climatic factors. And the next is the biotic components. The all things are going to have impact on the environment. So edaphic factor, we shall talk one by one. In case of edaphic factor, the first one is the soil type. Soil type means clay, sandy or loam. Plants do not grow well in clay soil because of oxygen deficiency. In case of a clay soil, normally what happens? The voids are very, very small, right? So definitely there will be lack of oxygens. And in case of sandy soil, the voids space will be bigger. In that case, there will be chance of leaching of minerals. So next factor, soil texture. The percentage of sand, silt, and clay in a particular soil determines its soil texture, which affects many of the physical chemical properties of soil. Soil structure. Soil structure describes the arrangement of the soil particles of the soil and pore space located between them. One can see below the ground level how the soil particles are structured, how the one particle is interlinked with the other particles. Next is the soil pH. Many a plant species prefer soils with low pH. Some plant can grow in alkaline soil. Some plants can grow in neutral soil, neutral pH. Soil pH also determines the species population and activities of soil flora and fauna. Next edaphic factor is the soil water. It's also called as soil moisture. Plants needs water for photosynthesis, transpiration, and metabolism. Soil minerals. Deficiency of essential minerals in soil affects plant growth. The next factor is the climatic factor, or it is also called atmospheric factors, are responsible for creating conditions for life grow with all its potency. These include light, temperature, water, humidity, and winds. We can see in this diagram also climatic factors. Light have a very important activities like photosynthesis, a process through which chlorophyll plants manufacture food that sustains most of life in biosphere. Other characteristics of life like intensity, quality, duration of light, direction of light, and distribution of light definitely significantly influence plant growth, animal activity, and ecosystem. The temperature, living organisms have evolved physiological and behavioral adaptation to withstand temperature limits. To avoid extreme temperatures, many birds, as we know, migrate from one location to the other location to get the favorable areas. Accordingly to seasonal changes, and cold-blooded animals undergo hibernation, winter sleep in winter, and estivation, summer sleep in hot summer, to save themselves from the extreme temperature. So how the temperature is going to have impact on the organisms, right? That we can see. Ultimately, it is going to have impact on the environment. Water is necessary for photosynthesis, all metabolic activities of the organisms. The distribution of organisms on land depends on how much water they require. As we know, water itself serves as a habitat for numerous organisms. Plant, animals, and microbes, they live in water. Next factor we can see under the climatic factors, the humidity. It relates to the proportion of water vapor in the atmosphere. It determines rates of evaporation from the water bodies, transpiration in the plants, sweating in terrestrial animals, and precipitations. Atmospheric gases, it regulates essential life processes. As we know, we need oxygen for respirations, photosynthesis, CO2. The bacteria fix the nitrogen which is available in the atmosphere. Air, it serves as a medium for respirations, dispersal, and life supporting activities. The next climatic factors we can see wind. It determines the weather conditions, helps in dispersion of seeds or pollens from one location to the other location. Right? That's why it is written here. The wind helps in the propagation of plants, seeds or pollens, and also for the propagation of plants control water losses. The next component is the biotic components. All the living organisms like plants, animals, microorganisms classified on their function as producers, consumers, and decomposers respectively. So what I'm trying to say here, the environmental components, abiotic components, and biotic components, all are interlinked or have interrelations with the environment. Any effect on these either climatic factors or the adaptive factors or the biotic components will have impact on the environment. Next, we can see what are the scope of environmental studies. What benefit we can get, right? So what it says that environmental study as a subject have a wide scope. It encompasses a large number of areas and aspects. For example, conservation and management of natural resources. One can carry out research in the area for the conservation and management of natural resources, conservation of ecosystem and biodiversity, prevention and control of pollutions, social issues in relation to development and environment, impacts on human population on the environment. So these areas can be considered for the research point of view or can be carried out to work in this area, can be carried out to minimize the environmental pollution, to conserve the resources, to prevent the pollution. This comes under the scope of environmental studies. In addition, several career options are also available. For example, the first we can say research and development in environment. Many environmental scientists have been carrying out R&D work for developing cleaner technology and promoting sustainable development. Sustainable development means we have to establish the plant, but parallelly we have to minimize the environmental pollutions. We need the trained manpower at every level to deal with the environmental issues. Environmental management and monitoring are emerging as a new careers opportunity because of stringent environmental laws for the industries. So what we can say, uh, one have also scope for the scope in the for the research and development. That means one can get the career in R&D cell. We should know that in our country, many research institutes are there. They have been carrying out research in different areas of environmental pollutions. Those research institutes have their own environmental engineering departments, and they have been carrying out the science and technology projects, consultancy projects, in-house projects. How the air pollution generated from a particular resources can be minimized. Water pollution can be controlled. Noise can be controlled in the industries. So everything are carried as taken as a R&D projects. Next, we can see the green advocacy. While increasing emphasis on the implementation, including various acts, right? Because many PIL cases are also filed against the industries for due to the pollution generation, pollution emission, pollution discharge. That's why we need the environmental layers, right? So what it says that we need advocates to plead the cases related to water and air pollution, forest and wildlife. So green advocacy also comes under the scope of environmental studies. Green marketing, that means the quality of product with ISO marks. Now there is an increasing emphasis on meeting goods that are environmentally friendly. Such products have eco mark or ISO 14001 2015 certification. And the organization have been getting the environmental management system certification. Environmental auditors and environmental managements would be in a great demand in the coming years. Green media, environmental awareness can be spread among the mass through the mass media like television, radio, newspaper, magazines, for which environmentally educated persons are required. So this is also one of the scope of the environmental studies. People can open an environmental consultant to test the air pollution, water pollution, right? The environmental consultant can also be opened. So what it says that the NGOs, industries and government bodies are engaging environmental consultants for systematically studying and tackling environmental related issues. So environmental consultant or become an environmental consultant is also one of the scope of the environmental studies. What are the importance of environmental study? Why environmental studies is required, right? What is the importance? So what it says that the importance of environmental studies lies in understanding the relationship between the humans and the environment and developing awareness about the critical importance of safeguarding and conserving our planet. So for that awareness is required, as well as the detrimental effects of pollution on the environment. What effects are going to due to any industry or due to the any resources, any sources, what type of pollutants are going to generate. For that awareness are required among the people. So first point we can see the importance global nature of environmental issues. Environmental problems like global warming, ozone depletion, acid rain, marine pollution, biodiversity loss go beyond the national bound. So in that case, we need the international collaboration for the combined efforts. Local environmental issues, we can see the local issues like the mining industries, problem disposal and management of solid waste, river or lake pollution, soil erosion, waterlogging, fluorosis problems, arsenic problems need to be thought and act locally. In addition, the varieties of industries have also been causing environmental pollutions that should also be thought of by the people, and awareness among the people can be created. It is very important to make everyone environmentally educated. The next point we can see here, the development and environmental effect. Whenever the development is taking place, definitely it will be the source of the pollution. As we know, urbanization, industrial expansion, advanced technical communication, transportation system, housing cause the environmental degradation. So people should know, right? This also comes under the importance of environmental study. Rising pollution level. As we know, the world's population rise puts immense pressure on natural resources. As we say that the population increases, pollution increases. We can say it is a directly proportional to each other because the increase in population need the natural resources for the survival. So what we can say, the rising pollution level should also come under the importance of environmental studies. Why is development planning? Any development plan should be ecologically sound, synchronized with the natural cycles of the environment. Planning should be priorities environmental sustainability along with economic development. Definitely, economic development is also required. We need the industries, but parallelly, we have to think about the sustainable development. We need the industries, but parallelly, pollution should also be minimized for the sustainable development. Individualistic importance of environment. What is our roles being individuals? What it says that environmental study is very important since it deals with the most everyday problem of life, where each individual matters, like dealing with safe and clean drinking water, hygienic living conditions, clean and fresh air, fertile land, healthy food, and sustainable development. If you want to live in a clean, healthy, aesthetically beautiful, safe and secure environment for a long time, wish to hand over a clean and safe earth to our children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, it is most essential to understand the basic of the environment. So these are the points which we need to understand the importance of environment. Thank you.